Hey everybody, Carl here. Today we're working on the Lotus again, and this week I'm going to show you how to strip the paint off a fiberglass bodied car without ruining the gel coat. So, just going to use some basic tools and some elbow grease and get it done. Time consuming, but so is literally every other process. A few other processes people have always suggested. Chemical strippers might not be the best because chemical strippers can harm the gel coat on the fiberglass, so that's always risky. And then some people say to media blast with a very light abrasive like baking soda or maybe walnut shell at a low pressure. That could potentially work, but I don't have the facilities to do that right now, and that requires a little more effort than I want to put right now. I just need to clear up some areas to see how the fiberglass is doing, repair some stuff, get it back together before eventually the whole car is going to get redone. I just want to see how bad some of the structure is before going too much further. So let's get started. I'll show you what you need. Alright, so for this you're going to need some pretty basic tools. First off, safety glasses, possibly a respirator, depends on how much dust this is kicking up. I would advise you wear one. So next, main thing you're going to need is a 2-inch putty knife or a scraper, whatever they call them. I took a file and I sharpened this edge on one side only, just to get underneath the layers of paint easier. Next, just a basic razor scraper. This to get some more stubborn stuff or get under things. Obviously the razor blade's flipped around. You're going to want a handful of razor blades as well, just to replace dull ones as you dull them out. You're going to need a cup for your tea with a lid so you don't get particles of paint in your tea, because that's not so good. And then you're going to need a Triumph Spitfire to work off of when you're working with the bonnet and all that stuff, because you need something flat and stationary, and so I all know my Triumph Spitfire never moves. So perfect. So it's pretty basic and easy what you need to do, and should be fairly obvious, but we'll get into depth here. Note, it's also a lot easier to do this when you have a heat source. I'm using my torpedo heater right now that I use to heat the garage because it's winter time. Right now, stuff's pretty tough. It'll chip off and all that stuff, but it really takes a little bit of effort. If you heat the panel up with a heat gun or some other type of non-flame heat source, the paint will soften up and it'll pull off in a nice sheet, whereas when it's cold it will crack. Alright, so the best way to do this, if your paint's being stubborn like mine is heat it up. Preferably use a heat gun. I'm using my my torpedo heater in the shop because that's all I have right now. I'm gonna grab a heat gun another day and do this, but see how this is coming off? Pretty easy with a little bit of heat applied to the panel. Don't go too crazy with the heat on the panel, or else I don't know what it'll do to the fiberglass, but it definitely softens everything up, including the paint. So it's like right there, you can see it's starting to get cold again. So you can make a lot of work easier for yourself by heating up a big area. This even looks like it, with the heat applied, it's pulling up some Bondo. I think that's Bondo that was put on top of the original yellow paint for whenever they painted it green. Now you're going to get some of this color left over, and that's not the worst thing in the world. You could always lightly sand those areas, get the color away, or scrape them. But to get the big areas of the paint off, definitely get some heat on the panel. It makes it go a lot quicker. So that is how it is done. I'm not gonna film stripping the entire car. Maybe I'll do a time lapse or something like that. I probably won't. There's just a lot of paint, a lot of time, and I don't think anybody's interested in watching me strip a car for 6 hours or more. So yeah, I'm sure there's other processes, and some people do risk using chemical strippers. I'm not going to at this point. I'm just not too confident that I'm going to get the stripper off beforehand, and I was hearing horror stories about paint bubbling after people cleaned and washed the cars numerous times. I'm not interested in taking that risk right now. I'll just spend a little more time and use the scrapers and get the paint off. I'll probably end up grabbing my orbital sander and knocking some stuff down, some hard, difficult stuff to get off. But yeah, that's that. I mean, this is a pretty short, simple one. Once I get the points of interest on the car that I'm concerned about right now, paying off of them, then we'll go ahead and start doing the fiberglass work. But thank you for watching, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe.